If this government is really determined to get building, as they say, will they get the backing of or opposition from the Liberal Democrats' 72 new MPs? In this new parliament, the party is back in the place it used to be in as the third party of British politics, a party with real influence inside Westminster. Joining me here on College Green, overlooking the House of Commons, Munira Wilson, Liberal Democrat spokesman on education as it happens. Morning to you, and thank you for joining us here. You have real influence in this parliament. Simple question. Keir Starmer says it's a choice. You're either a builder or a blocker. Now, over the years, Lib Dems have always talked about building nationally and always promised to block locally. Which is it? Will you make your choice?
Well, Nick, I would challenge the assertion. We do believe that actually being able to live in a decent home is absolutely fundamental to everything and addressing many of the inequalities. And that's why we've said that we are keen to see 150,000 social homes built every year, which would help move the entire housing market. If you actually look at the evidence on the ground, where you've got Liberal Democrat-run councils right across the country, whether that's Eastleigh or Portsmouth in the south, South Lakeland in the north of England, Kingston upon Thames at Davies' backyard, we are building hundreds, thousands, in fact, of homes, particularly social homes, and working with local communities to make sure that those homes are the sorts of homes that local communities need and want and have got the right infrastructure to support them. So actually, where Liberal Democrats say we want to build homes, when we are in power, we actually deliver them.
So what we're told the government will do today is that say that parts of the Green Belt can be redesignated. They'll be called Grey Belt. They'll be ready for development. And in those areas, local people will not be able to block housing. They can have an argument about what it looks like, but the housing will go ahead. Will Liberal Democrats vote for that in Parliament?
Liberal Democrats have said we shouldn't be building on our Green Belt. We need to protect our Green Belt.
Whatever it's called, even if it's called the Grey Belt.
We think you need to start with brownfield sites. We could build 1.2 million homes, Nick, on brownfield sites across the country.
So to be clear, you will vote against these planning reforms that the Labour government put forward?
Nick, forgive me. We haven't even had the King yet in Parliament reading the speech.
Sure, but I've just told you what it is. They'll redesignate the Green Belt with Grey Belt.
We haven't seen the legislation and the detail of the legislation coming forward. We have 72 brilliant MPs across the country who are local champions who will look and scrutinise every piece of legislation line by line and provide constructive challenge.
Understood.
We want to see homes built. We need to protect our Green Belt. And we will work with local communities to make sure that our key workers and our young people have got the housing they desperately need.
You've already made your principled objection to what the government is promising to do very clear. You say you wouldn't redesignate the Green Belt. So let me ask you about another thing they say they would do. The government says local people should not be able to object to what is seen as critical national infrastructure. Solar farms in the east of England, for example, power lines, expanding the national grid. Do you accept that that is so important for economic growth that ministers should decide that local people should not be allowed to block it?
Well, look, we do absolutely need to secure our energy. Energy security is really important. And when we were in government, Ed Davey quadrupled investment in renewable energy. But we need to work with local communities. Again, I give you a proof point. We have Lib Dem run Wokingham Council.
Can you answer the question rather than give me a proof point? What I want to know is, it's a simple question.
Yeah.
Should government have the power to override the objections of local people? I think your answer fairly clearly is no. You don't think Labour are right.
But I think, again, we can work in the way to incentivise local communities to buy into these schemes is to say, well, actually, if we're going to have a solar farm, as Lib Dem run Wokingham has just backed a £68 million solar farm development in Wokingham, is to say to local people, actually, you will benefit from this by getting reduced prices on the energy that you're generating locally.
I put it to you that the Liberal Democrats want it all ways. When the Conservatives talked of reforming planning, something they were forced to back off, Ed Davey wrote a letter in which he said, I have to alert you to government reforms to planning laws which could seriously damage your road, your neighbourhood and your borough. You want votes from local people by saying that you're opposed to development while talking grandly about wanting to build.
Nick, I've given you plenty of examples of where we are building, where we want to see the planning reform, the planning system change, is where big wealthy developers who are desperate to make lots of money out of luxury development and buy sites, get planning permission, but don't then build. That's where we need to see planning reform, is use it or lose it planning permission, allowing local authorities to be able to buy land at a decent price and not on hope value so that they can build social housing.